If it
Okay.
has, I've already given it. I don't see
Okay.
anything. Yeah, just me
So
and
we should
you.
be good to go. And it
All
says that
right.
we're recording.
All
Yeah,
right.
we're
Well, then
rolling.
let's start with that. I mean, where do you think, in retrospect, where do you think your uh, we say chronic pain, but I think probably our disease states may have shown up much earlier. And some of us in particular, Lauren, if as we're doing an interview, we're kind of switching the roles where I'm going to ask Lauren because it would look kind of ridiculous if Lauren was asking herself questions. I mean, we could, but I'm down for whatever. But no, I just thought that, we would start off by talking about really where it started off in your life, Lauren.
So for me, it was definitely in my lumbar, my lower back. That area has always hurt, and it's not like in the center on the vertebrae, it's more out towards the sides, like inside the hip
Oh,
bones, but
really? That's
still.
odd.
And like I
Like out
before I had
towards
surgery
the.
there. Yeah, so like your hip bones are here, your
Yeah,
spine is here, and it's like
yeah.
in spots right in between those.
That's wild. It's
I would
almost
have
like in
expected
a
it
in
to.
a space that isn't necessarily. That's wild.
Right. And I always thought like maybe it was just touching nerves or something, or maybe it was in the muscle. And I have had that area operated on. And some of them have grown back, but they're not painful, which is
Yeah.
weird.
Weird.
And so I can actually still be gently touched in that area.
Oh, can
But
you? Well,
my
that's
whole
that's
life,
something.
from 6 years old on, that was a no touch area. Do
Oh
not
my
touch my lower back.
God.
I've never liked massages.
What did you
Nobody.
do? But you have to. I mean, if you recline, I mean, it's you can't live without your back
Oh, my
being
back
touched.
would
I mean,
spasm all the time. I couldn't
oh,
lay flat on my back because then my back would start to spasm. And so then you just kind of throw yourself over to the other side and hope for the best, you know?
you think somebody understood what was happening?
No, not at all.
Not at
No,
all. Did
no.
they
I
think
mean,
you were?
everybody dismisses, first off, we dismiss children, right?
You're right.
Especially back then. Secondly, we dismiss women. We dismiss men just as often, but we
Yeah,
dismiss
but
women.
you're absolutely right. It's
So if
well known.
anything, I was seen as like, maybe complaining or being a little too sensitive, or, it wasn't seen in an investigatory way.
Yeah. You think that, um, like you had periods where you kind of went through some wellness and then like some of us I feel like we go through periods where we kind of almost get better. We manage to live a life somehow.
Oh yeah. I
Does
mean,
that
in
make
between
sense? I
that,
mean,
like I've done so much stuff, right?
yeah,
And I've always, it's always been weird transient periods, and then, you just forget about it once you feel better, right?
it's true. It's
And
very
you just
true.
keep going, and
You
it's.
keep going, right? Did you when I was a kid, um and honestly later in my life as well, people denied my illness,
Mhm.
and I know you a bit, Lauren, but did you kind of go through that, and have you kind of almost gone through that most of your life?
A lot with doctors. I mean, my mother always believed me. I at least had
Oh,
that
that's
my
really great.
there wasn't anything that she could do about it. We were poor, we lived below the poverty line, we had no health insurance at a certain point, and so there's
I
really not much
understand.
that you can do.
Yeah,
Um, so like a lot of us, we turn to supplements, both her and I.
yeah.
She doesn't have Dercums, but she has Ehlers-Danlos and other things, right? Um,
Your mother's
but
still alive?
oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. She lives in Washington State right now. So
Oh my gosh. Oh, Everett.
no, Port Orchard.
Yeah, well, that brings us to something else, doesn't it? Your husband.
Oh yeah. Um, so not everybody may know. I guess I'm a fairly private person, which is
You
why
are.
not everybody
You
knows.
are. I was
Um,
really surprised you wanted to do this.
I only thought that it was fair. If I expect everybody else to do it, to all the people that I'm asking, it's only fair that I do it too.
Yeah, that's what
So
I like about you, Lauren. I
I
love the
like
way that you
fairness.
think about stuff like
I
that.
like things to be fair.
Yeah.
So,
Where were
okay,
we at?
I have 3 children, who are all under 18 years old. My youngest is 12. I've been married for 20 years.
Oh my
My
gosh.
husband,
Congratulations.
it'll be 21 this October.
Oh my
My
God.
marriage will be
Well,
old enough to
geez.
drink.
You think the
And,
cruise will end? Let's
and,
knock on wood.
my husband is in the Navy. And what else? I studied to be a veterinarian. I didn't necessarily keep going with that path, but so I have always been called to help animals, and so I do have a lot of animals. I'm a dog lover, I'm a cat lover, I'm a bird lover. If it's an animal, I love that animal. I will probably try to pet it.
I call you Ellie Mae. I was thinking about, it's kind of hard for me to look at questions and then because I can't remember them. So I have to look back, but I have to keep looking back at the question to see if um if I'm kind of hitting things. I think that
It's just more of like a general sense to just
yeah,
keep us going forward. I didn't ever really want it to be like set in
I
stone,
agree.
you know?
I
And
agree.
it should adapt. Like you're adding the Dercum symptoms to it. It seems so obvious, but I hadn't thought of it at all.
Yeah, and geez, we're learning, right? We're still
Yeah.
learning this process. But I think what I was thinking about is Lauren is that um, with some denial of our conditions. I have a feeling that you probably started looking a long time ago. Not that you're that old, but you know what I'm saying. But when did you really kind of start getting on the path and start thinking that, hey, this might be a chronic illness? There might be something happening with me that the people around me don't necessarily understand,
It's a really twisty kind of answer because
isn't it?
we want so desperately to be well. I faked being well for a very, very, very long time. And so much so that even when I was asked to rate my pain scales when I did the
Yeah.
examination, it was really hard for me. And he got really a little bit frustrated with me because it was hard for me to focus on areas where I did have pain and kind of rate that because I'm so used to just not acknowledging it, not thinking about it, not just you want to be normal, you know? So it took me longer than if I would have seen these things and realized that they weren't normal. I always thought that I was until somebody told me that the pain
I
scale
know,
normal rating is
right?
0. 0? I felt so betrayed. People are out there living at a 0.
I'm like, I don't even start out at 0, man. What are you
I
talking
don't.
about?
Well, I can tell you one time that I was at a 0, and that was when I had my epidural when it first kicked in. Now I had to be
Mm,
completely paralyzed. I couldn't even move my legs. I had to lift them up. And then I was just about at a 0, maybe a
wow.
little bit of heartburn.
Heartburn. Yeah. Geez. There's certainly worse symptoms you can have while having a baby, right?
Right. So
Oh
I
my
think that's the only
gosh.
time that I can ever think of in my entire life, in living memory, that I've been at nearly a 0.
Did you ever think when you were having your children, did it you think it impacted you physically that your disease may have been accelerated by the process of having a child?
I think that hormonally that it probably did.
Yeah.
Certainly with whatever form of Ehlers-Danlos I have, that was really difficult because your ligaments just get so loose. Like I could actually feel my pelvis like floating around.
Floating. Yeah.
All 3 pregnancies, it was terrible.
Ugh. It's a
Yeah, because it
scary
just gives you the
feeling,
willies. You're
especially if
like,
you're
"Ooh."
pregnant. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Feel your pelvis
Um,
moving.
but did I have like an explosion of like, no, because I kept battling like the weight up and down each time, right? Each pregnancy, I'd at least gain 80 pounds. And then, you work to take that off and are even more strict about your diet and finally get down and then I would get pregnant again. So,
Right. Just when I start getting down. Yeah,
right.
just
Yeah.
enough for the doctor to say, hey, you better be careful. You're going to get gestational diabetes. I'm like, hey,
Oh, I
man,
did.
we're eating mashed potatoes and chicken all day.
Yeah. Yeah, I had gestational diabetes with my first 2, and my third one I did not. But my third one, I did not take their exercise advice. I continued exercising like I normally would have. I mean, not
Really?
doing any jumps or anything
Yeah, yeah,
crazy,
yeah.
right? But I didn't, because in my first 2 pregnancies, they're like, maybe just a little bit of walking. And so that's what I did. I had
Yeah.
gestational diabetes. The last one, I kept up with my kickboxing and my weightlifting, and I did not have gestational diabetes. Of course, I still was low carb the entire time, even with the gestational diabetes.
You were already
I was already, before I got married, I was already low carb.
yeah. And I mean, you had 3 kids. Um, but I think I remember in our conversations that uh you gained and lost 80 pounds 4 times, at least
5.
5. Man,
Yeah, this last one is 5.
oh my
So
gosh,
once
boy.
before I got married, 3 kids, so we're at 4, and then this last one's 5. And then I saw my friend Michael comment under the thing that I left for Dr. Derek, and
Michael,
he's
I
like
love
somebody
Michael.
else that is. I love Michael too. He's like somebody else that has fluctuated as much as I have, so it's not a
Oh,
unique.
really?
No, Michael has struggled with that too.
I didn't know that.
It comes
Well,
on so
we shouldn't
fast,
talk
and no
about
matter
him.
what you do.
It's probably not fair, but I just think
Well, we're not
it's
saying his last name, and we all know
yeah,
him
yeah,
who know
yeah,
him.
yeah,
We
yeah,
do love Michael. Michael's
yeah.
really wonderful. But
But in this time period, you've gone and lost 80 pounds 5 times at least.
Mhm.
Uh, you in your childhood, did you have uh, obesity in your childhood? Was there body mass problems
So
that you can remember?
until
Most
until I
people
was 6 years
probably
old, I
did.
was really normal.
Oh,
I
really? Till
mean,
what age?
physically, until I was 6 years old,
6.
physically, like from the
Hmm.
outside, I was normal. I mean, from the age of 2 on, I had the ear infections and things like that, and I lost my hearing. And but
Well,
outside,
that's a
if you
big
were
deal in itself.
right, but outside, if you were to look at me, you wouldn't.
Yeah,
I
right.
wasn't overweight or anything until after I broke my leg. And when I broke my femur, that is really when my body shape entirely changed. And yeah, so even my mother says that that is exactly when everything changed a lot for me, was when I
Did
was 6
you,
and I broke my femur.
man, 6? That's a significant bone break. Even if it's
And
not like outside the
no,
skin,
it
it's
was
still
not
a big
compound, but
problem. That's a
it's a
big,
big bone.
sturdy bone,
Yeah,
typically,
and
right?
yeah, it's a big sturdy bone typically, and the way that I fell, it probably shouldn't have happened. So there's
Do you
more
think
for
there
me
was
to
some
look
kind
into.
of hyperextension involved?
I don't know, because normally with Ehlers-Danlos, people are supposed to bend and not break. So
That's
I
what it's
have
supposed to be.
dislocated. Yeah, when I had my daughter, my middle child, I did dislocate that same side, that hip, just
You
like
did.
popped. Um, but when I fell, my leg went behind me, and it's right up at the growth plate, right when it
Oh,
starts to come out is right where it broke.
oh,
Um,
Do you think you
and
healed?
yeah, I was in a cast for
Oh my God.
almost a year and a half. It was
No.
a long time. And they
Are
can't do
you
a
kidding
walking
me?
cast for that because it already goes up to your
It
hip.
goes up too high. Oh my
I never
God,
wanted to see
Lauren.
crutches ever again in my life. Oh,
I wore
it's
braces
terrible.
as a child, 24 hours a day. So,
Mhm.
man, I'd hate to imagine what it must have been like. I mean, I said I hate to imagine. I can imagine because I
You
know
can't imagine.
exactly, you know. But oh man, so what? I mean, do you think that you kind of went on to kind of have a healthy childhood? Uh, Within
Uh,
your kind of I mean, I think all of I think I understand enough to know that most of us have sicknesses of all kinds, but it seems like a lot of us find a way to make it through, and as we used to know, Lauren, like it used to be that people didn't even start talking about Dercums unless someone is in their 50s, you know?
right. Yeah, definitely. No, I don't think anybody would have been looking for that.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, even Ehlers-Danlos or any of those
Yeah,
things, you know.
yeah, there's a lot of those kinds of conditions, and uh, am I mistaken? But didn't you break another bone?
Then I broke my arm. So I broke the outside, the radius, and the ulna. But first, I broke the radius. Then the person that was watching me did not believe that I had
Oh no,
broken.
and oh,
And I went to go play, and I went to jump up on like a
oh,
cement thing, and my entire wrist just shattered. And
oh
so
my
as it's flopping
gosh,
there, I'm like, "Do you believe me now?" And then
it
so she
doesn't
did believe
work.
me then.
They still
Then
didn't
she
believe
did
you.
believe me. She did believe me then. I ran into her when I was much older, and she actually apologized. It was kind of sad, but for other things, I
Sometimes we
mean,
make mistakes, you know.
nobody's perfect, and
Yeah.
adults, even adults get it wrong. None of us
Did,
are
did
perfect.
you have lipomas when you were younger?
Not so like my lower back, my lumbar, where they've always been.
Yeah,
I believe that those have always been there.
always
Like
been. Yeah.
since I broke my leg and that area started becoming like just untouchable, right? I believe that they was always been there. When I didn't actually palpate any of my own body until much later, and then that was one of the first places that I looked. Like, right, like why has this always been that way? And then you start to feel lumps there, and you're like, "Good Lord, that's not normal. Has that always been there?" And then you start to think back about it. Kind of always has been that way. Huh.
Yeah. And that's what I did too. I used to think they were glands.
I thought my nerves were too close to the surface or something stupid. I was a kid, I had no
I was
idea.
so silly about them, man. I was like, I think I got my first one at a very early age, but I think probably what you're describing is probably more typical, right? People don't show up with lipomas and angiolopomas until they're older, typically.
Right. Yeah,
Do
I
you
don't
have
think anybody would have
lipomas
caught it.
now where your lipomas are angiolopomas?
I turn out to be kind of an interesting mix of a lot of stuff, at least that I've had biopsied so far. I uh, have had 5 removed from my scalp. One
Man,
of them was
those are
a
very
fibrous
troubling,
tumor.
very
So one was
troubling.
a fibrous tumor. One was an angiolipoma, 2 lipomas, and 1 cyst. There we go. So that's just the
Well, man,
scalp.
you went for the trifecta there. You're like,
So
I'm getting them all.
yeah, interesting cornucopia. And then, so then I had 3 more biopsies. I had 2 taken out of the abdomen and 1 taken from the back of the thigh to send to Dr. Herbst when she was doing the treat program.
Oh my
And
gosh.
those came back as lipomas, angiolipomas, and fibrotic tissue.
Yeah, it sure
Other
seems
than
to
that,
be.
I did the 2 different rounds of liposuction, so they don't really test any of that stuff, right?
You when you were just saying about 2 rounds of liposuction. Um a lot of people in our community have turned to liposuction. Do you remember at the time, how long ago were these, Lauren, if I might?
So the first one was with Dr. Shapiro, and
Shapiro.
that was awake because he only does awake lipo with local anesthetic, which
Wow.
I didn't know that I had Ehlers-Danlos at the time. I know that I am very hard to anesthetize, but I
Me
did not know
too.
how quickly the lidocaine would wear off and I would feel everything.
Oh my God.
So he did my rib cage, a little bit of this abdomen, and then he did my lumbar. And the rib cage was really interesting because first it tickled, so I'm laughing hysterically. And you could hear, because it has a tube, right? It's a
Yeah.
metal cannula with a
Yes.
tube that goes down. You could hear it, the lipomas hitting the tube. It sounded like little beads hitting
Like
plastic,
little,
you know?
man.
That part was crazy. But yeah, so then I started to feel everything. But after that surgery, it really showed me that it could be very helpful for me because for the first time, I could take a deep breath because my rib cage wasn't being constricted.
Constricted.
And
Yeah.
stretching my back felt good again. It didn't like,
Wow.
and
Really?
I could lay down on my back without my back spasming, which was really cool. So because it was awake, because he only takes small amounts, it didn't really get everything that I felt that I needed. I tried to get the insurance to cover that surgery, but
Yeah.
his office never ended up getting me the paperwork that I needed to actually turn in. I asked them weekly, every week, and it just never happened. So I had to
Sorry to hear that.
kind of beat the cost of that. So then I saved up again and I found a different person who this surgeon was a really, really good at lipo. All right. Does he know about Dercum's disease? No, he doesn't. He was a general surgeon, and this is just his niche. He's really good at high volume lipo. And so I had my torso done and also my left hip because it was significantly bigger than my right. Everything had piled up on that particular one. And
Wow.
so I couldn't sleep on that side, but you roll over on that side in your sleep. And then I still
Waking
toss
up.
and turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all night. So he only does, so this was Dr. Palmer in Virginia, and he does conscious sedation, which is my favorite form anesthetic. It's like a power nap, right?
It is pretty cool.
And so that's what he did. And I still don't remember most of the day after that.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
that, but my husband was with me. So, I
Oh,
felt
good.
very secure and safe. So the
And you had
doctor
been through
actually,
the process before.
right. And so but this time I was really out of it,
Good.
out of the static. But he told my husband that he took 11 liters.
Gee, I don't know how they add up.
Well,
Is it
first you
like
have to
is it
subtract the
like
tumescent
just
fluid.
the tissue, the fat,
Yeah, so you have
and
to,
it
some doctors count all of it in the
yeah,
canister. Some doctors count only the stuff that isn't tumescent fluid. It kind of separates in the jars.
I've seen that.
And so
I've seen doctors do this. So
so
yeah.
the red stuff that you see is the leftover tumescent fluid that's been taken out. And the compact stuff at the bottom is actually the adipose tissue. And
Do
so this,
they do they inflate you when they do this?
no,
No?
no. So what they're doing with the tumescent fluid and the cannula is that they're
Yeah.
pushing tumescent fluid in with those motions and
Uh,
breaking free that
You
skin
had
layer.
water assisted liposuction?
All liposuctions are water assisted now.
Essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody does dry liposuction
Yeah.
anymore because it was a terrible idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then whenever they talk about PAL or wall, they are talking
Yeah.
about either the machine or the cannula that goes on the machine.
The
But
wand
all of
that
it's
we
water. Yeah,
call it's called a
right. The little
cannula.
wand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I mean, what was it like, Lauren? Did you heal? I mean, when I had
It took a long
lipomas
time.
extracted, I didn't heal properly. It took a
See, my
long
individual,
time.
yeah, my individual removals went
Yeah.
terribly. My biopsies, except for my scalp ones, those seem to do okay because they're
Oh,
not as deep and they're not in the fibrotic tissue. But the
and
one
by
that I
the
had
way,
on the back of my leg is like you can see a bump that
it's an
comes out where
out
I grew
extruding
more.
bump or is it a
Yeah.
dent? Because a lot of
So
people
you'll
talk
follow,
about a dent.
no, not a dent. This one is convex and not concave.
Wow. And
I
this is
gathered
behind the
I
knee or in back of your leg?
back of the thigh, middle of the
Yeah.
thigh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is where the biopsy was taken. So anywhere that I had a biopsy taken and where it was like an individual removal, I grew
Yeah.
more. I just grew
Uh,
double what I had in that area before is what happened.
After the
But the liposuction seems to remove enough of the fibrotic tissue at the same time to where if I do have some that grow back, they haven't hooked back up to the pain network yet.
isn't that wild?
It's weird. It is. Like individual removal is a no-no, except for my scalp, which seems to be fine. I'm gonna still try to get the one back here taken out because it's limiting my range of motion, but because I have that one in the muscle that's in here. I have
Has
more in the
you
muscles of my legs.
have you talked to a doctor about that one? What I mean, a general surgeon probably would not have issue
Right.
taking
So
out
that's
one in
my
the
next
side of your
stop.
neck, but
I wish Dr. Derek would just fly out here and
I
do.
know, right? Dr. Derek, calling Dr. Derek.
But I went to, let's see, I went to an orthopedic surgeon. He ordered an MRI. He was not good at palpating. So he said that he couldn't feel anything.
Yeah,
And the MRI didn't show anything, which we all know
yeah,
happens
yeah,
to
we
us
all
all the
know.
time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I didn't do contrast because it was probably going to
There
make me
again.
even sicker, right?
Absolutely.
So my next stop would probably be a general surgeon. I don't want to start the whole process until my husband gets home.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't feel
blame you.
comfortable doing anything where I'm going to be that out of it and not having him with me.
You know, everybody knows I'm a little bit cheesy, Lauren, but I'm really impressed with you. You know, you have a chronic illness. You have fluctuated weight in weight multiple times. You've had what, 3 children. I mean, this stuff doesn't come easy. Dercum's is hard. I mean, I imagine, was there some point where you thought that I'm getting worse, or was there more of a I kind of steadily put together things to make me feel better? Not necessarily like with me and a lot of us, how we kind of come up with our own things to make our life function. You know, is it just combined for you? I've always respected. Um, I have a lot of knowledge about Derkums, and without being a braggart, I don't have a lot of peers. But when it comes to knowledge, Lauren, you're one of our most knowledgeable people. Um, I wonder. I mean, if you could tell a doctor something, like, I hate those kind of questions, but what would you try to tell people if you were able to go back and maybe tell yourself something?
Hmm.
I mean,
See,
what would
for
it
me, I would have told myself to be a lot nicer to myself, because
know,
I
right?
believed kind of what we all believe that I just wasn't trying hard enough, right?
It was me.
I just wasn't strict enough on my diet. That's why I wasn't making it, or I didn't work out hard enough, or I was just lazy. Like there are lots of voices in your head that we could all probably do without, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It's a real struggle if you've been through that, Lauren, and I really I respect the way that you've come out of a number of what seemed to be difficult circumstances, Lauren. Because I understand, like like my childhood, that you had periods in your childhood where you were poor past the point of being poor,
Oh yeah.
uh, and that you weren't able to get like regular care.
Mhm.
Uh, and probably not regular dental care or anything
Oh,
else,
no. Oh,
you
the
know.
dental care, catching up on that was a nightmare.
I know I'm going through it now, believe it or not, but I just wonder, I mean, how did you keep yourself going? I guess you just keep going, you just keep moving. And I mean, it's so
Well, like
hard when
you,
people
Ray,
deny
I've
you.
always had a wicked sense of humor to get me through
Yeah, yeah,
things.
that's always a good thing.
I like to be a realist, but also an optimist, right? So when
Yeah,
things are looking bad, you're like, well, it could be worse, right? Like there have been days when I haven't been able to walk for whatever
I know.
weird reason as a teenager. Like I woke up one day and my legs just didn't work for one day. And then, what else are you supposed to do except for figure that was weird, but they worked out. Okay. And just keep going, you know?
A lot of us, I know I did, and we went through those kinds of things where we would have diagnosis or we would have an illness or something wrong that nobody could explain, and you're sitting there trying to tell them, I'm not making this up.
I'm not crazy. I swear, like
It's
this
hard to
happened.
go back and trust a medical provider, Lauren. How have you gotten through that?
I don't think I really have, if
Yeah,
I'm being honest. If I'm being
yeah,
totally honest, I still have medical PTSD from childhood.
I
And then
bet
from going about getting diagnosed with Dercum's, I think that's its own separate thing, right?
it is.
Because it's traumatizing in a different way, even though you're an adult and you have the say now, right? It
Yeah,
still is happening to you again in a different way. And so that's a different they're together, but it's a
it's
different one,
still
you
a
know?
struggle to find care.
Right,
You and
and then
I
for me
probably know more about advocacy and about Derkums than most people. And even with us, I know with you, to this day, it is hard to find care.
oh, yeah, and especially, I mean, because I move,
I
all
know.
over the place, so then you have to
As a
start
Navy
over again,
wife, right? You're,
and so we move, we've been fortunate to stay in places, more than most. I've seen,
yeah,
other people move more,
yeah, right.
but it's still hard when you have to start all over from square one and then, go out and go through it all over again,
Well,
you know?
I mean, it tells me, and that in my mind, Lauren, it tells me that you have done what a lot of us who kind of have had to struggle with our health a lot of our lives, where we become excellent at training doctors. We because really, if you can't find somebody that will listen, it's impossible.
That's true.
It. Uh, did do you think that? How did you find out you had Derkums? What? Where
That
did you get
is the
diagnosed
crazy
by
story.
somebody?
I was officially diagnosed by Dr. Shapira working
Oh,
with
okay.
Dr. Herbst. And that was okay. So it was weird how I even discovered Derkums. I saw this woman on Facebook that had legs like I did, similar anyway.
Yeah.
And she said that she had lipedema. And so at first, that's really what I thought I had. And so I started looking at that. And then on the fringes, you'd see people talk about Derkums, and you're like, oh, and you'd look it up and you'd be like, oh, thank goodness I don't
Thank
have that.
goodness.
That sounds
Yeah. Right.
awful. Right. And then I was exercising a lot then to try to finally, just push myself towards what I thought my goal was. And I was really over exercising. And I got myself so sick to the point where I had unending abdominal pain, like I had been kicked in the stomach, and it just never shut off until I
Oh my
was
God.
pretty much bedbound. Um, and so it took months and months and months and months being like that. I think I had a lidocaine patch, like four of them, as much as you
Yeah.
could like fit
Yeah. And
around.
this was around your abdomen and your lower back.
Right. And
Yeah.
the lidocaine helped a little bit, but then, I
It's
process
not
it so
deep enough.
quickly. that it doesn't, it just
Yeah,
for maybe like 30 minutes and
you're
then,
right.
the pain's back again.
And that's if
And
back in the day, or unless it's recently, they use that glue. I
yeah,
can't use that stuff on my
no,
skin. Can you?
I I developed a sensitivity to it now and then. So I
I don't
tried
even
the
like telling
capsaicin
people because they are
patches.
like, "Oh no, you're not one of them paper people." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm one of the paper people." Well,
So
we're
then I
using
tried the
nylon
capsaicin,
anyway.
and the capsaicin was good until I moved to the South because all these things are happening at the same
Absolutely.
time, right? I'm veteran and I'm finding out about Dercums. I had my interview with Dr. Shapiro, but it was online when I was in
Yeah.
Washington State. And he said, he's like, I really do feel like you have Dercums. You're not going crazy, but I can't officially diagnose you without laying hands on you. And I'm like, that sounds not only reasonable, but fair, right?
Fair.
You
Yeah,
shouldn't
yeah, yeah.
diagnose anybody that
Yeah,
you can't lay hands
absolutely.
on.
And what good
Um,
is it to know that just to know?
right.
You know what I mean? Because that's the diagnosis a lot of us got. You got
Yeah.
Dercums. There's nothing we can do,
Right.
right? I mean, that's what I got told. Was
It
that
was
what
at
did
least,
you get a conversation like that? Did you
I've
it
had,
kinda hurt my feelings.
I've had lots of conversations with doctors with Derkums that haven't been
Not so
good.
good.
So there was the Navy plastic surgeon that I was
Oh
referred
my
to because
god.
you have to go inside of the
Yes,
network
ma'am.
first.
I've been to them.
And so I wait 2 months for my appointment and I go and they put me in the gown with the back open and you're naked, right? And his nurse is with me and she's feeling for areas and she's circling everything in my back that she is finding.
Wow, that's pretty
And
cool.
right, because she could
Most
feel
people
them,
won't even
right?
touch you.
No, and she was already on it. So I'm like, I'm thinking this is going to go good, right?
Yeah.
The doctor comes,
Wrong.
opens the door. He doesn't even close the door, right? I am
Oh,
naked.
no.
And he says, I don't have time for this. Turns around and leaves. That was it. That was my visit that I waited 2 months for. He just left. He don't have time for me.
Oh my god. What did you do? You must have been a
Uh,
mess.
I avoided crying.
Makes me
His
wanna
nurse
cry just
felt,
thinking about it.
I know, I wait until I get home. I'm not going to
I
give
know,
anybody
right?
the
I'm not gonna give
satisfaction,
it to
right?
you.
But his nurse felt terrible. You could tell that she felt really awful.
Well,
And she
especially
tried
because
to,
you're saying that she palpated your
yeah, she's already got the shot there.
lipomas. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not like they weren't real.
nope. He just decided he didn't have time for that. And so they were giving me cards to, go to other
Yeah, yeah,
in-network people. And, it's going to take you a little while to regroup from that. Like my
it
mom always
is.
told me, you get at least one day to feel sad for yourself, right? You go
Yeah.
home, you mope, you cry, you eat the terrible food, and then the next day you get back up, right? So then I went and I scheduled another consult with another plastic surgeon that was not in the military system, but he was still in my insurance's system. And I had been corresponding with him since I left Washington State. He said in his emails with him, not with his staff, that he knew about Dercums. He was very familiar with it. It's underdiagnosed, blah,
Oh,
blah, blah. He said
no.
all the things. He said all the things, right? And then I get there and
Oh, no.
he
I'm
laughs at
scared.
me and tells me that I need to
Oh,
stay off the internet
no.
because that's a made up internet disease.
Man, why did I don't understand. Why did they do stuff like that?
Why would you say that you
So
knew it at
hurtful.
all?
I
Just say
mean,
that you
even
don't
as
know.
a human being. I mean, I've worked with a lot of doctors, literally. I mean, right beside them. And, I just can never understand why you would treat someone so bad. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Lauren. That's terrible. That's
But
terrible.
I still had to get a biopsy from him so that I could
It's
send
not like
something
you're
to Dr.
done.
Right, right. So I still have to talk somebody into doing a biopsy so that I can send it to Dr. Herbst, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
For the tree program, and so that maybe she can help diagnose me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I
Oh,
try
so
to,
this was connected to that.
right.
that's a real big, if it were me, I'm like, I want to make that goal for Dr.
Right.
Herbst, right?
So that's why I was like, okay, I'm going to put this aside. This guy's a tool, but
Yeah,
I'm going to
yeah.
have to suck it up.
Head on
So
down the line.
I did convince him to take the biopsy. I took one from my scalp, which turned out to be the fibrous tumor, which sometimes are cancerous. So that's why I
I
had 3
know.
more biopsies with Dr. Shapira. He did the 3 other biopsies. And we sent them all to Dr. Herbst in the treat program. And then I also sent him my DNA and stuff for the treat program, because
There were
why
no
not?
cancer cell present or no pre-cancer.
No, and
Mhm.
I never, even though it came back as something that could have been, I never thought that it was going to be
You
that. I
know,
mean,
a lot of people may not know this, but I mean, since we're like old timers here, Lauren, me and you have been around for a long time. But, you know, our tumors or our lipomas or angiopomas that grow in our scalp can cause our skull to deform.
oh, I would
Uh,
get headaches from them.
oh, I'm sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure. Just that. I mean, I've seen, actually. I've seen the medical. I've seen the surgeries. I've seen the images where people's skulls, but not all of those people had Dercum's disease either, which is interesting. You know what I mean? I've seen some where they have multifamilial lipomatosis, where they had the lumps, but they didn't have all the rest of the things. Do you think that your Dercum's is systemic?
There's not a part of my body that isn't
That's not impacted.
infiltrated, that's not impacted. My abdomen, my arms, my forearms, my calves, uh,
Do you
they're
have
everywhere.
lipedema? Have you been? You said you.
I was not diagnosed. So Dr. Shapira, he was very thorough. It's about a 3.5, 4 hour
Yeah.
exam
Oh, really? And
with
that is cool though.
so the areas. The formation of my leg and some of my arms do look like lipedema,
Yeah.
but he said that the areas that I have pain, the denseness of my tissue and the formation of what he was feeling there did not feel to him like lipedema. So
Yeah.
I am
You
definitely
think he was
diffused.
right in that?
I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah.
It's
That's
such a
interesting
fine
because a lot of
line.
us really, we develop, how people with Derkums, we
But
like,
me, you know how much I resist
I know,
just
right?
jumping into any diagnosis
It's
or
very
any new
true.
thing. Like I want it to be thorough. I want it to be vetted. I want it to be real and scientific by ruling out other things. So he said that's just what I've stuck with. I'm
Yeah.
diffused
Yeah.
Derkums. That doesn't mean that I'm ruling out that I might have lipedema. I
Yeah.
need a little
Yeah.
more.
Have you been diagnosed with fibromyalgia?
No, I
A
learned.
lot of us, that's our initial
But
diagnosis.
see, that would have been me if I had kept actually saying anything to anyone, right? Instead of pretending to be well, right?
Oh, that makes a lot of sense, Lauren.
So
I
instead
didn't
of
think about it
going to the
like that.
doctor or complain, I just clammed the hell up, right?
Stop. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Man, that's a big burden. Do you fear for your own children?
Not not really. I mean, I've gotten by. I've had a really good life. I've
Yeah.
done so many things. There's,
Yeah.
and I don't think that this is necessarily a curse or that it's guaranteed. My mom doesn't have Derkums. I can't remember anybody else that would have had Derkums.
Oh,
My
I
mom
see.
definitely has
She
Ehlers-Danlos in
has
some
some of
form.
the other things
My
that might be
mom,
included.
yeah, my mom definitely
Yeah.
has mast cell that I got from her. Because we have similar symptoms as far as mast
May I
cell.
ask, how did you find out? How did you get, a lot of us talk about having mast cell, but I'm not
So
sure how many of
same
us
time.
actually get some kind of diagnosis that says, yeah, was this a
So Dr.
genetic or
Shapira
what?
did diagnose me with mast cell because of I had an allergic reaction to the sutures and to any adhesive from
Everything.
any like,
We don't need to give her a prick test. She's allergic to everything.
well, because
Isn't
you
that
know that
amazing?
those tests
I
don't
bet you
always
when you were a
work,
kid, you
though.
probably could have ran through a dirty field with tires and rust and not come up with anything. You know what I'm
Not a
saying?
problem. And in fact, I probably did because
I know I did
I've
it.
always been wild, you know?
I was wild too, man.
Yeah.
And did you you grew up in or you spent some time in Northern California, I understand?
It,
Is it okay
yeah,
that
I'm
I
a fourth or fifth generation Californian, depending on how you count.
that's amazing. That's
Man,
like
it's pretty
before the
crazy.
gold rush, right?
That is where my great great grandmother was born outside of Sacramento.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
was when it was still a territory of Mexico. So
Oh, really?
yeah, a couple
Well, I mean,
years,
that's what it
you know.
was
Well,
historically.
'cause
We know that.
Mexico really wanted people to occupy space to keep the terrible Americans from claiming their territory. So it was easier to get other immigrants to come than to force actual Mexicans to move up there, right?
You're
Because they
you're
already liked where they lived.
you're I've read this somewhere else about uh, the Mexican culture then about wanting to attract people to come to these lands, and they did it with no real kind of religious. They didn't expect you to be Catholic back then. Where did if I might ask, where was your family from?
So this particular set of the family, they were German. So
German.
weirdly, what they would do is they would, from Germany, they would go to South America and
Oh, and then
they spent about a year there until they catch the whatever ship was coming up and landed in San Francisco.
wow, could you imagine?
It had to be wild.
Oh my God. It'd
Wild.
take you a year to get somewhere.
Mhm.
And you think about it, like you've been to Sacramento, I've been to Sacramento,
Oh,
and if you think about what it must have looked like back then, oh my
well, yeah, it's
God,
hard to
and
find
certainly not the
records.
capital of the state of Florida, right?
Oh no,
Or the
but
state of
with the
California.
records, so in Sacramento, there was a giant flood around that time. So a lot of records have been
Oh,
lost.
really?
For me to actually, so I only know my great great grandmother's married name and maybe a hint at her actual maiden last name.
Oh,
But so I can only see what she put down on the census where she said she was born and when she said she was born. But I can't actually find her actual birth records or any of the things of the sort because there was a flood and a fire in
oh my
Sacramento.
God. Well, yeah. And then, at the time, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of records went to San Francisco,
Hmm.
and San Francisco's gone. I mean, that San
Right,
Francisco is not there anymore. So a
right.
lot of
Especially after
people lost.
the
I
big
think I
earthquake.
remember hearing about that. Was that a dam that broke that caused? I think I remember reading
I
about
only
that
read, well,
story.
there's been like 4 or 5 giant
Yeah,
floods
right.
from that time period. So it could have been
It's
any of
funny.
those.
Everybody's dying for water, but they're drowning. It's amazing.
Right, right. The
Yeah.
story of
Yeah.
Northern California.
Yeah,
Uh,
right. Do you feel like you've kind of maybe turned the corner a little bit with your Durkums? Are you, I mean, for I don't like to think that I'm interviewing you, Lauren, by telling you my story, but some of my story is that I've been afraid to even seek care,
yeah.
you know, because you just get hurt so bad so many times.
Oh
I
yeah. I've
I
been
mean,
putting off regular care, just regular stuff that has nothing to do with Dercums.
yeah,
There's from my childhood trauma of hospitals,
yeah,
with all the ear infections and all of that stuff that happened.
yeah.
It's something about the fluorescent lights, the brightness. It just no. Mm-mm. And then on top of it, the stuff that I went through just with the Dercums
Yeah.
diagnosis. on top of that, I know that I have to do better. I know that I do. I have to do better about regularly getting my screenings and care. I know I do.
Do you find that maybe now that maybe you're a little more willing to at least, pursue the appointments? Sometimes I don't even want to pursue the appointments. It's such a hassle. I got to get
Mhm.
over here. I have to shower 2 days before. I mean,
Well, then you got to show up early just so that you can wait even longer. And then, I've got the kids that I've got to pick up. That's a hard
yeah,
time
right.
that I can't miss because I don't have any backup. I'm
Yeah,
not from out here. I don't have any
no,
relatives here to back me up. It's
yeah,
just me.
mm, yeah. Do you, uh, do you have a primary? Have you developed a primary that you feel comfortable with?
This is so sad, and it really does
No,
speak to
it's
my
not.
medical PTSD. So I think it was 2, 3 years ago, I did look into this one woman as a PCM, and she was actually really nice.
Yeah,
She listened to me. She didn't look at me like I had lobsters crawling out of my ears when I told her
yeah.
every single thing that I've been diagnosed with or suspected that I have. She was not phased. And she went right in for the things that I actually needed besides, the stuff. She was like, okay, you know that you're getting up there, so you got to do your mammogram. And I'm like, "Brr." And so that is where I left it with her. But I have medical PTSD so bad that even though it went well, even though she's nice and she
Yeah,
believes me,
yeah.
I
Still don't
still
trust.
haven't made another appointment.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know. I mean, sometimes you got to laugh about this stuff because, gosh, it just eats you up, right? If you don't,
Right.
right?
And I have to find the
But you're
humor
going to
in it.
promise me that you're going to try a little harder, okay?
I promise.
I was thinking about, I'm looking at the questions again, and we kind of answered that like, what would you say to you? Or, but, if you could talk to a doctor, what would you say? I mean, I try to do it all the time. I have providers, and every time in some way I try to slip in something, you know.
I
Um,
carry my little card with me that the
I do
FDRS, the
too.
one that they made, it's in my wallet at all times.
I carry mine everywhere. I have those cards, and I still have a few from, the FDRS sent me some when I went to
Yeah.
the Nord event. Have you I don't know how to the right way to approach it, but you know, many of you may not know that, and if you've been in Dercum's disease answers for a while, you will know that I had to stop, and Lauren kind of stepped in and kept everything running. And if I had my way, she would be in charge of everything.
I did
She,
have help though, too. You did
I
leave me with
know, I
help.
know.
I had lots of help. I just happened to be the last one standing right now.
Yeah, there for a little bit, I swear. It was exhausting. Do you remember that? Geez, it
Uh,
was hard to get any information. Like, like Dr. Herp seemed like this like shiny golden thing out there that,
um,
oh, Dr. Herps.
But I have the personal experience of like, when I was really desperate and really, really thought that I was going crazy, I sent an email to her because I mean, what's the worst that could happen? She
Yeah,
could just
right.
not answer it, right?
Yeah.
And she answered me.
Oh my
And she
gosh.
actually like sent a couple emails back and forth. And it was incredible for her to do that. So I've always kept that in mind, that
That's
she is
really,
just one human
really
being
nice.
doing the best that she can.
I know, right? I'm very thankful. I'm glad to hear that, Lauren. Sometimes, we get so busy about telling about our war stories that we forget
Yeah.
about, when providers reach out to us like that. It's amazing. Um, did you do you think that, I mean, I wonder about, if you, I mean, I don't know, I think a lot about sometimes about how we are perceived within our community, you know?
Mhm.
not just as fellow patients, which we are, but also as people that are kind of and have been, especially with you helping us to get through, where we've looked at more of trying to start something for Dercums that can continue beyond us. And
Mhm.
do you think that your advocacy is something that supports your own wellness?
I think for mental well-being, I think it's been good to find community. One of the first things that Dr. Shapiro told me, and it made me mad at the time because it sounded kind of contrite,
Yeah.
it was like, maybe you should find a support group. I was like, yeah, right, a support group for my rare disease. Thank
You're
you.
skating on thin ice there, buddy.
But it really was the best thing that I've done. And so that is when I joined the group about 8 years ago, when you were still interviewing everyone that wanted to get in. You were doing personal
It's a
direct
long
messaging
time
interviews.
ago, isn't it?
It was a long time ago.
And we were so protective that and what's funny is
We
that,
still are.
yeah. And what's funny as well, as we've found out, is that there was a generation that came before us.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
you and I probably have. I know I do, but some of the old stuff was on message boards. It
Yeah.
hadn't even gotten to like the thought of a Facebook group. I
And
remember.
since then, that one main lady, like Grandma Cynthia or something like
Oh
that.
yeah, was that the one with the
It
car?
was, yeah, it was something like that.
Cynthia Strantz. Oh, I
And so
shouldn't say that.
they have sent past, but yeah, it was all message boards back then. No
Yeah,
pictures, just people talking back and forth about
yeah,
doctors and
yeah. I think that was one of the things that when you joined, that we had already kind of started talking about, is trying to set up some way that people could find doctors that knew anything about Dercums.
like anything at all.
Yeah. And I'm grateful to say that people use that. I'm sure that we could probably use that resource a little better than we do, but I'm very thankful for you keeping things going, Lauren. I really went through a hard time, and I know you've been through hard times as well. But if I don't ever tell you again, I hope you know that I value what you did, Lauren. It means a
Oh,
lot to me.
I always knew that you were coming back. I
I
never
don't know
doubted that you
how,
were coming back.
because man, I was so fried. I was so fried.
I
Oh my
always do it.
God.
Anybody that be like, what happened to Ray? And I'm
What
like,
happened to
he's taking a
Ray?
break right now. And he will be back with us as soon as he is able. And until then, we're
Yeah,
kind of holding down the fort. Yeah.
I'm
I knew
very
you were coming
thankful,
back.
Lauren. I don't know how
Knew
you
it.
did it. And I know y'all must have been thinking when I came back, like, oh God, here he comes wanting to whatever. But
Oh no, I was excited.
were you?
I was excited because, you could finally see what you had started.
Yeah.
You could see the community that we now had. You could see how it had grown, and then you could step back into the role that was always yours in your own
Oh,
group that you made in the first place.
well, you
Look,
flatter me.
if I wanted my own group, I would have just started one,
I
right?
know, right? Well,
It doesn't matter.
thank you very much. I really did it myself as to try to help as many people as we could, and I know that you are of the exact same mind, except you really believe in safety. You really believe in people really looking into things before they go jumping. You know,
Oh yeah,
because
definitely.
I mean, I don't think we necessarily need to preach at people about jumping into mistakes, but I think we've probably both faced some times where, geez, we probably could have handled things a little better, probably, I
Oh
guess.
yeah. I
Yeah.
regret my first surgery. I do.
Do you?
Um, I
Why?
do. I don't regret meeting Dr. Shapira. Dr. Shapira himself is a wonderful human being.
Very
And
knowledgeable.
for a diagnosis and for a caring doctor that's actually going to get you diagnosed, he is wonderful for that. But I do regret the actual surgery because I was
And
supposed to
this is
be
on
able.
both legs.
No, I only have had my torso done. I haven't had my
Oh, you
legs or
didn't
arms
have your
done.
leg. Oh, okay.
Legs and arms I haven't had done. I haven't been able to save because my insurance won't cover it.
I see. I see. So you
Okay.
had two separate surgeries of your legs,
No, just the torso.
just the torso. Okay.
And then my hip, the outside of my hip I had done on the last one.
And that was in a more limited kind of area, or
So like,
because they get
you know
funky
how
if
your
they
hips.
can't define the area, you know?
Yeah, it was just the outside of the hip. But that one, I knew that I wasn't going to get reimbursed from insurance. The first one with Dr. Shapira, that's part of their whole thing is it's supposed to be able to be covered.
Covered, yeah. But it
You're
wasn't.
supposed to be able, but I couldn't get it covered because they never got me the paperwork that I needed to turn in. And you have 1 year from the date of surgery
It's really
to
hard to
turn it
believe.
in. And so every week I would send a nice little email to the office manager. Hey, do you have that ready yet? Trying to be nice. Well, year went by, never got it.
Well, you know what? I'm sorry that happened. I couldn't imagine the money that you must have lost in that.
Right. So
But
that's at the time it was
oh my
$7,800.
God. Oof,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
just eat it. Oof.
Yep. Yep. And so I saved up for the second surgery, and I think it was around 7,000 for the other guy, but I don't regret that one. I had wonderful anesthesia. He took a huge amount, and I have been solid in those areas since he did them. Some lipomas did
That's great
return, but they don't
news,
hurt.
right?
Yeah.
That's good news.
Yeah.
Do you think that having done this at two separate times, that do you feel like the knowledge kind of increased? That the first provider may not have been the best idea, but the second one got better, even though it sounds like to me, I know with me, I got offered a limited area, very,
Hmm.
but I mean, do you think
I
that lumbar removal helped you?
I think it did. I mean, the lower back and the rib cage, even though it wasn't
Yeah,
as high volume as I really needed, I think it did show me what was possible.
yeah,
Once you remove like that fibrotic kind of case that we're encased in.
absolutely. And just
Um,
fibrotic tissue in general. I mean, we're
yeah,
covered in
yeah.
this fibrotic tissue.
And so after that, I knew what I needed, right? I needed somebody who
Yeah.
did
Oh, I see. It
liposuction.
kind of gave you a path, right?
Right. And so then I started researching into, okay, I want somebody who's really good at
Yeah,
liposuction
right.
and somebody who can take higher volumes and isn't afraid of that. So, I mean, you're either looking for board certified extra plastic surgeon or a general surgeon who knows how to lipo.
Yeah, yeah, right,
And
right.
he was great at that. If
Or
you
do
look at his
you
records, he doesn't have any lipo burn.
who is this?
Very good.
If I might?
Dr. Palmer.
Dr. Palmer, where is he at?
Yeah. He is in, let's see, Northern Virginia.
You would recommend him?
He knows nothing about Dercums, but he
Yeah,
does know how to liposuction.
there you go.
And his
And if
work
you
is
know how to
still solid.
liposuction, you gotta know about lipedema. I don't see how you could do
He had no interest. He was
well,
very
yeah.
happy.
I mean,
He wasn't rude about it. He's just like, it's not the
some
way that I want
doctors,
to
it's not
go.
their thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
but
rather
he's like,
somebody
I
tell
am
me
really
that.
good. Yeah, he's like, I'm really good at lipo. I mean, I showed him, I was still carrying my Dercum's card like I do. And so I showed
Yeah,
that to him.
right.
And he's like, okay. He's like, is that
Good
really
for
going to
you.
affect surgery? He's like, is that
So
really going to
you
affect
got
surgery? And I'm like,
Dercum.
no. So he's heard of it, but is he getting into it and is it his
Did
passion? No,
you
it's not.
did they I hate to ask you, but I know because of your veterinary background that these things don't bother you. But did they like squeeze them out like BBs? They
No,
didn't do that? Because I've seen
no,
them where they do the
that's a
liposuction
particular,
and
that's
then
his
they
particular thing for Instagram. He does
oh,
that for
really?
Insta. Right. Because what he's doing is the tumescent fluid is still under the skin. And all
Absolutely.
of that tissue is
Well, I
broken
don't
up
know.
under
I'm
there.
not a surgeon,
And
but
they already cut holes to stick in
yeah,
the cannula, right?
yeah,
So all that he's doing is kind of like you would do a reverse MLD, manual lymphatic
yeah.
drainage. You
That makes
just,
a lot of sense.
and so the
That
fluid
same
is
kind
still
of
in
almost
there.
that same pathway,
And
right?
it's, so that's his particular, that surgeon's particular one. This guy is not an Instagram surgeon. He is just
Good.
yeah, he's indoor. He doesn't do that. He's
You know
not,
something?
just for the Facebook or anything like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
That's a
so
pretty incredible
never,
story, though.
never really go for Instagram
Do
surgeons.
do you think that the lumbar removal was worth it? Have you had regrowth? Is there?
I've
I
had
think you
regrowth,
remember. Yeah.
but it's not the same. It's not like the things where they regrew, where I've had lipo on aren't painful. And when they do come back, there it's just lumps
Do you
there.
kind
It's
of
like,
think they would have grown there regardless of what you did?
no, it seems like any tissue space that I have
I
fills
know.
up with these things
I know.
because I'm diffused. So it's like a whole bunch of little like
Little
Orbeez
ones
in,
that,
yeah, like really like it's all packed in there.
but it's a little different though.
Right.
They're,
So the
they're
lumbar
not just
ones,
little, they're vascular,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's a big difference, right?
it is.
Because it's
But
got a
on the
blood flow and they
outside,
can see the blood flow.
yeah. So, but when I go in to go see any doctor, and
Yeah.
even if they do know what Dercum's is, they're looking
Yeah.
for one of the very nodular types of Dercums that they've seen on the internet, right? Or
Oh,
in
right.
textbooks.
Because they look,
They're not
yes,
looking for
they're
me.
going
I
to
don't look
see the
like I have
most
any.
obvious examples. And that would
Right.
be like
So
mine, these
the
big
people that
giant,
look and they're looking and
yes,
they're looking and they're like, you don't have Dercums. And I'm like, no, I have diffused Dercums. There's
feel
several
here.
different types of Dercums. You need to
Yeah, right.
actually feel the tissues, and then you will start to see all of them are packed.
Yeah. 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 I was thinking about just the other night about, you remember when it wasn't that long ago, but that feeling when Dr. Herps decided to do our Dercum's roundtable. Oh my God.
This
Wasn't that
is so incredible.
amazing? And
Yeah,
now she's saying, and we're planning for her to do something on Dercum's Day. Have you heard anything about what she might be doing?
I don't know. Whatever it's going to be good.
I know, right? If it's
I
Dr. Herbst, it's got to be something worthwhile. I'm
Right, because
really
I'm
excited
waiting for
about it.
every research paper to come
I
out. Like,
know.
there are a bunch of us that were big research nerds, and it was like the newest album had dropped.
I
A
know.
new
Did you see
season
that?
came out.
Yeah. I remember when I first found that white paper, it was like a dream come true for me because I really didn't understand it. I really, and as much as I know, I'm not sure I do now. Uh-oh, my son is by me. Hey son, love you. I think we're going to be finishing up pretty soon. How are you doing, Lauren?
I'm doing good.
You doing good? Did we? Oh, lo mein.
I'm pretty good.
My son's asking me what we're going to get for Chinese.
Ooh, nice.
Uh, I think we got all that.
Oh, one more thing though.
What's that?
What would you say to fellow Dercum's patients? That's the one last one.
Yeah. What would you say?
I have a couple of things because I added to my original one. All right. So the first one is still the mean one, right? It's that no one is coming to save you. You're going to have to save yourself. You got to step up for yourself. However, you can do that. No one's coming to save you. You need to save yourself. Number two, only try one of these therapies at a time. or one supplement at a time, or whatever you're doing, one at a time, so that you can tell what's working for you and what's not working. If you try a bunch of these things at once and something isn't working, you're not going to be able to tell
Never
which one is
know.
working.
Yeah. That's really,
And then
really sound
the very
advice.
last one, the very last one is be kinder to yourself. You need to know that it was never your fault. You were always working hard enough. You were always good enough. It was never you. You be nicer to yourself. That was it.
That's a really good point, Lauren. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate the organization that we've developed, and your help has been so significant to all of us.
Us
Uh,
as a group, we dazzle, you know?
y'all make me feel like a big head, but yeah, we do. I've been really, really, really impressed with us, and I'm glad it's continuing. And I appreciate all your help, Lauren. It's been nice talking to you tonight.
All right. Thank you for doing this, Ray. I
You're
appreciate your
welcome.
help.
Okay, we got to make sure and record it this time. Make sure
We
and get
did.
the.
We did it.
We got
All
it.
right. I got
Bye,
it.
Lauren.
Bye. You can arrange all members. Yeah.